What's up, everybody, and thank you for listening to Mastering the Mindset. My name is Dariusdotch, and I'm an actor, hip-hop artist, and fitness and life coach. And I'm here to personally help you train and improve your mindset so that you can, 1, become the best version of yourself mentally, and 2, gain focus and motivation to be able to take action and achieve the success in life that you want and deserve. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to my channel, and at the end of this episode, if you liked it, please share it with a friend or a loved one or someone who would benefit from hearing this message. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm ready to go on this journey with you, and that journey begins now. Welcome back to another episode. I'm just going to dive right into this one. I think it's a really important one. It's actually something I'm experiencing right now, and the timing of this concept is pretty perfect timing for me. So let me know if you can connect with this. So I've been in a season where I feel a little off and not totally myself right now. And I'm kind of moving into the season where I'm finally mentally ready to get back at it, to get back in the game. And I came to a point where before I'm ready to get back, I came to this point where I kind of hit this wall. You know that wall? When you've really been on top of things, being super productive, really working and getting things done, and you may have a lot on your plate, but you're killing it. You're doing the damn thing. And then you hit a wall and you basically burn out. Energy is harder to come by. You're not nearly as productive. It's way harder to get motivation. You're not as disciplined. Now, I'm slowly coming out of that stage with all this, and that happens, right? But now I'm feeling my mojo or whatever start to come back, and I'm ready to jump back in full speed. But I really have to be focused and intentional about my mindset right now. And maybe you can connect with that. Maybe you've been navigating some setbacks, and maybe you are moving through a tough season, or maybe you're at the end of it and you're like, okay, cool. New mindset, who this, right? And that's great. It's a great place to be in, to be on the other side of it. When you're ready to light that fire under yourself and jump back in and use that motivation as fuel to get that fire going. But at the same time, I think it's important to know and understand that you really should stay steadfast and gradually dip your toe back in. And the reason we do this is so you can actually sustain the results that you want for your goals. Because sometimes we think we can jump back in full throttle, and maybe we can, but that doesn't mean that we necessarily should. Because sometimes it's actually counterproductive to go from a dead stop to a full-blown go mode. Because what happens is you risk burnout or feeling like a failure or just not capable when you can't sustain that level, that mode you were in when you were actually in a different season. And one thing you don't want to do, especially as we're working on ourselves and improving our mindsets, is to be all in and confident about being all in and then being all out again and going back and forward, back and forward, back and forth. It's like somebody who was a first-time driver driving stick shift up a hill, right? That excitement of driving for the first time. They hit the gas, woo, and then they come to an immediate stop. They hit the gas again and accelerate, then another stop. Back and forth, back and forth. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I know how to drive stick shift, but I think it's a cool analogy of how exhausting and uncomfortable this stuff can be. When you start something and you jump back in and say, yeah, here we go. Let's get it. I'm full go. I'm ready. Then you get burnt out and have to stop completely. You have to park the car. And then having to move that parked car, which is harder to get moving, you have to muster up all that energy all over again. And this is what we need to avoid. We need to avoid this by not setting ourselves up to get burned out by going from 0 to full speed. And it's even harder because what we're doing is we're setting ourselves up unintentionally, right? We're sabotaging ourselves to feel like a failure because we have these expectations for ourselves. And when we don't meet those expectations, when we think we can just go from 0 to full speed, and then we crash and burn when we try to go from an off season to jumping right back in to where we were months ago, and it ends up being too much for us all at once because we just aren't at the same place mentally, we beat ourselves up and feel like we're not capable, or it's just too hard, and we get discouraged, right? Now, I don't want that for you, for us, because Let me tell you, I've definitely been there. And what happens is we fall on our face and we tell ourselves that we failed, that we're a failure. And then your brain starts to look for and highlight all the supporting evidence to prove that belief to be true. It's going to look for as much evidence as it can to find ways that you're dropping the ball. And it's going to make you feel like crap. What's up, what's up, what's up? I want to take a quick moment to say thank you so much for listening to this episode, and to also let you know that this podcast is 100% donation driven, which means it's completely funded by you, the listener. So if you like the content I have to offer, I would love it if you can make a donation and you get to pick the amount. I left links in the description of the video as well as my homepage. You can choose which way benefits you the best to donate. And if you need more options, please feel free to email me at dariusdotch@gmail.com. That's dariusdotch@gmail.com. Again, thank you so much for being here, and let's get back to it. Now, instead, if you didn't try and go from 0 to full speed, or even from 20 to full speed, and you had the intention to gradually increase, to slowly and eventually get back up to that point where you were able to manage that cruise control you were in, it's going to feel so much better. And you'll feel more confident and more excited, because once you gradually get back to that speed, that level that you can sustain it all, your best mindset, then when you're in that season and ready for it, whether that's health goals, business goals, how you're showing up in your relationships with family, whatever it may be, depending upon your season. And a really easy example of this is workout goals. We've all been there, especially if you're part of my program, right? You start off strong, you are getting the workouts in, you're being consistent, and eventually you hit a wall, whatever that wall may be. And you're at 0. And when you're ready to jump back in, you might have made the mistake of trying to jump back in full speed to that level that where you previously were, because you know what you can do because you were doing it. Then what happens? You get sore as hell. The workouts feel harder. They get even harder to finish. You have less motivation than before, and you kind of end up at 0 or close to it again. Why? Because you tried to jump back in too fast, because it's only going to discourage you even more. And of course, that's not just with my workout program, but that's with anybody trying to get into being more healthy and improving their fitness. And the same thing applies for things outside of fitness and health. Maybe you're trying to build a business or a side hustle, and you have these goals, these massive goals, and you crank it up to 100, to full speed. Could you instead gradually start to increase the amount of work that you're starting to put in, to find that minimum baseline to sustain, even when life feels crazy? And then when you're in that season, when you can really turn up and go hard with it, then you'll really be able to crank it up. And even if you're in a corporate job, or coming back from maternity leave, or if you had a really bad month of being swamped and overwhelmed, and you're ready to go, okay, I'm jumping back in, I'm ready. It's not fair to yourself to have those expectations that you could just jump back in full speed. You have to gradually start to increase and add more things to your plate. Don't rob yourself of feeling like you're winning. That's a feeling you can give yourself by gradually increasing your workload, gradually increasing how much you do, gradually increase that speed to get to that cruise control. So focus on how you can get better each day, how you can slowly move that needle forward, and stack those days. Stack them together and keep stacking them. And you'll look back and see that you used this season that you're in as an opportunity to build yourself back up, and you'll gain that confidence again. Some of that confidence that kind of dwindled away over time when you tried to get back to it and you couldn't, or you couldn't sustain it and it felt so hard. You lose confidence that way. And the last thing I want for you to do is to get to your goal and you look back down the path you took and you feel like, damn, that was hard as hell and I didn't enjoy that. I don't know if I want to go to the next level, because it really can be draining. So moving forward, don't think of it as getting back on track. Think of it as building a new track, a new season. Whatever it is you have going on in life right now, how can you show up for yourself and start to build that confidence and increase the speed gradually and keep it steady? And really to give yourself a whole lot of grace. The same grace you give other people, freely and easily, right? We have to give that to ourselves, especially in this season when we're trying to get back on track. We don't want to unintentionally self-sabotage ourselves. So let's show up for ourselves. Let's find those opportunities to build ourselves up and stack those wins day after day. So that's what I got for you today. If you like this episode, please share it with somebody that can benefit from this, somebody who is a friend or a family member, somebody who has goals and is trying to improve their lives. So thank you again, and let's get it in.